All right, Nick, let's head down to Rocky Top and talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. Again, they've made yet another big time move. They've been filling out their roster for now and for the future all this past year, and they've made a lot of really great moves, but they've gone and done it again. They've picked up another key player that I think is going to do this team a lot of good.
Yeah, Miles, I agree with you 100%. Volunteers fans will be really excited about this report. But before we look to the future, let's take a step back and look to the past a little bit. And that leads us into the question today for Volunteers fans to answer in the comment section below. Real interesting one here for you. Give me your favorite Tennessee Volunteer defensive player in program history. Look, I think there's one name that jumps out. Of course, that's the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, but there's a lot of other potential names that I'm really excited to see if they come into the fold. So let us know your favorite Tennessee Volunteers defensive player of all time in the comment section below. All right, Miles, what you got? What's going on in Knoxville?
Yeah, Nick. So Tennessee, you alluded to it, great defensive players in their past, and it seems like they got another one for the 2024 class. I'm going to jump to the article right now. Tennessee Volunteers have been on a hot streak on the recruiting trail, and that is to say the least, Nick. They've been killing it. They have landed several top defenders in recent months and added a commitment of four-star defensive lineman Kellen Lindstrom on Friday afternoon. Lindstrom is a Missouri native that hopped on the board after seeing what the Vols did in the 2022 season, and who couldn't be impressed with a performance like that? But his primary contenders for Lindstrom were Oklahoma, Missouri, Wisconsin. But Lindstrom shared with On3 that Tennessee always felt like it was the right decision for him, the place that he fit in at the best, Nick. So Lindstrom commits to Tennessee, and this guy, Nick, he is already a beast. He's like 6'5", 240 pounds, almost coming out of a high school. You know, a four-star recruit for this 2024 class. They were fighting with we named them all kinds of big teams: Oklahoma, Missouri, Wisconsin, Alabama is on there, Arkansas, Auburn, tons of big-time recruits. But nonetheless, Tennessee wins the recruiting battle once again and picks up Kellen Lindstrom. What are your thoughts on Lindstrom? What are your thoughts on Tennessee once again winning another crucial recruiting battle?
Yeah, so to me, this is such a good sign for Tennessee because when it comes to the Volunteers, we always talk about the key for them in the recruiting game is generally to win what we affectionately refer to as the Smoky Mountain Quarter. That of course, is East Tennessee, North Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. That region is a hotbed of college football talent that when Tennessee is competing at a national level, which they did last season, they dominate that area. Obviously, you got some big players at Clemson, Georgia, South Carolina in that area. Tennessee focusing on that area is critical, and they continue to have done that under Heupel this offseason, done a great job with that. But the fact they were able to get Lindstrom, a guy from Missouri, look, I know they were recruiting him, and Volunteer fans can correct me below if I'm wrong, but I never got the vibe this was like one of their premier top recruits, that they were pulling out all the stops, putting a lot of resources in to make sure they get his commitment. I felt like this was one of the guys they were interested in, but they wouldn't be surprised if they lost to an Oklahoma or Wisconsin or Missouri or things like that. Instead, they were able to get this guy to commit. And to me, that's a great sign of a program when you've got, a recruit that basically isn't getting the hard sell and he still recruits to you. That means, Miles, your recruiting just takes care of itself. You don't have to go out and sell your program recruits for itself. You don't necessarily have to go out and do the hard sell for these kids. You can just let your actions in the offseason and during the in-season, more importantly, they kind of sell your program for you, and you get a lot of these guys like this kid from Missouri, Lindstrom, to come in and commit to this program. I think that's a great sign for Tennessee going forward, because one of the ways that teams like Alabama, Ohio State, I feel like have always been able to recruit in Tennessee back when they were winning national titles, is that just the prestige of the program and the success on Saturdays by itself attracts talent from all over the country. And I think there's a good chance that the Volunteers may be heading back to that arena.
Yeah, Nick, I think it's really crucial here. It says they've been on a hot streak of getting defensive talent, and they've needed to be, because last year they let up a lot of points. You see, they faced Pitt scored 27 on them. Florida, who was kind of up and down all season, scored 33. We all remember the Alabama game. They were able to score 49 on Tennessee. And then it gets worse when they go face South Carolina, who scored 63 points on them. Yeah. They did put up some strong defensive performances against other teams like Kentucky, LSU, et cetera, et cetera. But Nick, I think they really need to beef up this defense to go against the top level opponents, because you don't want to have to hang on by the edge of your seat for a game like they did versus Alabama to be able to win at the very last second. You want your defense to be able to put up more of a fight. And I think that's one of the things they focused on this past offseason, is to really get in high-level defensive talent for both this coming season and, as we can see here with the recruit we're talking about today, the 2024 season for the future as well. So I really like what Tennessee is doing here. I like what Heupel is really focusing on, because I think the offense in his system is a given. It's going to be good. They have elite level quarterbacks, 2 outstanding quarterbacks, multiple receiving threats, and it speaks for itself. But the defense has really, really been upgraded here the past couple of months, and I think it's going to show out next season.